Okay, I've got some brushes clean. Welcome back. We are going to jump back on this. We'll call this part 3. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to dip this 2-inch brush in just a little bit of thinner. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go straight into my cad yellow. And a little yellow ochre. And brush mix them. Just get a lot of paint on the brush, tap them up so you get that paint out on the bristles. And I'm going to stay completely out of the green except for what's already in the yellow. And I'm going to come right up here and just start lightly tapping. Just lightly tapping. And it's still going to pick up the green. Even though we tapped it in as much as we could, it's still gonna pick up some. All right, I gotta put out some more yellow right quick because I am almost out. And I put out quite a bit of yellow earlier. We are going to stay right in it, and we're going to keep going so we can try to get this little painting under control here. Alright, same way, loading the brush, same way, just pull it out and then push up, get that little ridge of paint. And come right back up and just get right back started. And when your brush goes running out of paint, just come in here, get you a little more, and just go back down, tap it on. Looks like I'm having to do this just about every run. But that's okay too. We gotta have paint to paint with. That's for sure. Because without paint, you don't have a painting. Come across here like so. Just make sure you keep your lay of the land as level as you can across here. Because if it's level, that's gonna add to the overall illusion that we're going for here, that this is a flat, kind of like a little flat island that runs out here into the little lake that's just sitting out here, about like so. But now this won't be the last thing we do that adds to this illusion. We're going to come in here in a little bit with some rocks and stuff that'll help it too, to make it look flat. We just want it to look like a flat across here that just comes out into the water a little bit. And I hope by the time this painting's over, all of it will go to making sense to you as to why I did everything the way I did it. And the more you tap this, the softer it'll become. Alright, I kind of like that. Alright, now let's go over here and work on the other side a little bit, because we got to do it the same way. Now over here, the part that you want to be concerned with is this point right here more than anything. Because when we come back up on this point here in a few minutes, it's going to get, well, there's going to be like a little water trickling over in here, over some rocks. Once we get everything where it's going to be. All right, now I am going to pick up a filbert brush. And I'm going to go right into the Van Dyke Brown. And I got just a little bit of thinner on here. And I'm going to come up right here and come down onto this little island right there. Just like so. We can go back up here and just pull it out like so. And if your hand shakes a little bit right through there, it might just add to the overall effect because it gives your tree a little shape. Let's make him a little wider at the bottom here, because as we know, trees get a little wider at the bottom. He don't have to be too skinny to do his job there. Okay. Then we'll pick our script liner back up and we'll dip it in a little thinner. And we'll go right into that Van Dyke Brown. And we'll come up here and we'll give him a little arm going that way, a little arm going that way. Then we'll come right up through the center and give him a little top like so. And a little arm off this way. A little arm off this way. And then a little, we gotta get him a little darker. He's trying to hide the mountain on us. Alright. A little arm off that way. About like so. Alright. Then I'll dip it back in a little thinner. And come over here in this color we used earlier for our highlight on the mountain. And we'll give this one a little highlight, make him stand out some. Then we'll come down this side of the tree, give the tree a little highlight. It ain't gonna take much just to make him stand out. And then we'll just kind of blend that in a little. Just like so. About like that. That's all we need. Then we'll pick us up a 1-inch brush and we'll go right into a little bit of dark sienna. Tap it on the brush. A little bit of alizarin crimson and dark sienna mixed together. And we'll come right up here and go to adding some leaves. Just like so. Just here and there. pick up a little more dark sienna. Come in here. Add some more leaves over here on this side. About like so. Right on off the canvas. That's about all we need for that little tree. Then we will come in here with a little bit of mountain mix. I mean midnight black, I'm sorry. Mountain mix. And a little sap green. Just a little bit. And mix these colors right on the brush. Then we'll come over here. We'll start I'll tell you what, we'll draw us out a tree before we do that. That way we got us a tree already established. We'll go with some more Van Dyke brown on this side. And this tree could come up to about this cloud here. I knew when we put that cloud in there was going to be a tree here, didn't I? I said that. I said, oh, there'll be a tree there later. I really didn't know that. Alright, we'll bring that base out a little bit, make him a little wider. Give him some feet to stand on. And we'll go up with him about like so. And we know he's going to need a friend. They always need a friend. Let's bring his friend right here. I don't like the way the point of that mountain looks no way. So we'll bring his friend down to here. And we'll widen out his base. Give him some feet. About like so. And we'll come up through him and pull his top out just a little bit. About like so. And we'll take our script liner again. And we'll go right back into the Van Dyke brown. Get us some more of this dark color. And we'll come up and give him a little arm going out across here. Right over the top of the mountain. Well, he got quite the view, don't he? He gets to look at that mountain all day. What a view. And we'll bring this one out like so. And we'll bring one this way. And we'll bring one this way. About like that. Close all this color in. Bring it down. Kind of just blend it in so it all adds together here. Then on this one we'll give him a couple limbs. We'll just put some on him so you can see them coming out, because they're not actually gonna, they're gonna get covered up. I know they are. But if we can see them coming off the tree, then that helps. So, alright, then we'll bring this color in, blend it down some. Kill some of this green out here. because we're going to have to come back in there with a highlight anyway. Alright, I'm going to highlight these with the knife, because I'm going to pick up a little bit of this sun color here. And I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to tap it on in a couple places. Just make it look like that sun's just really hitting it right there. Just up down through here like so. Then I'll pick up a little bit more. I'll come over here on this one. I'll make him look like he's getting hit in a couple places right through here. About like so. About like that. That's all we need. And we'll come back up here on the back side and just kind of work this color on around. Just kind of blend it in. Kind of work it around, make the tree look round if you can. Just kind of work them around like that. Like, wow, look at all that color. About like that. Then we'll do the same on this little fella. We'll just come up here and work that sunlight around. Let it blend out as it gets on around the tree a little. And this will add texture too. Once all this dries, you can walk up to this and touch it, and you'll be able to feel it. But that right there would add to the illusion that that sunlight's hitting it, which now it kind of makes this little fella out here look bad, don't it? All right, so we'll come right up here on him. We'll give him a little highlight too. Not much, just a little sunlight on him. About like so. That's all we need. Yep, about like it. We'll come up here and work this spot out where it got a little bright on us. About like that. All right. Now we'll take this 1-inch brush we got loaded up with color. And we'll come up here and we'll start making us a tree. Actually, we're going to make us a couple trees. Come over here and give this one a little leaves here and there. They don't have to be real dark, just dark enough that you can tell what we're doing. And all this is black and green, and this brush mix, so sometimes you'll see a little more black, sometimes you'll see a little more green, and that don't matter a bit, you know, because we got to highlight it. And of course, now what you have got to do right here is you got to make up your mind that this tree's in the front. So it's probably best to go ahead and put some limbs on this one. I mean some leaves on this one first. Just right around in here. That way when we bring these other leaves over, they'll kind of cover them up. And it'll put this tree in the front, especially when we highlight it. It'll just push that one further back, which is what we want to do. We'll have that just right there in front of the mountain, just a little bit, not much. About like that should be all we need to do right there. And we'll wash this 1-inch brush. And we'll make sure it's dry. Then we'll go right into our cad yellow. We'll put some of it on the brush. Some yellow ochre, some Indian yellow. Maybe pick up just a dab of the Hugo Red. And just tap all these colors right on the brush. Now I'm loading the corner of this brush. And you want to load it with open bristles. If you can see, those bristles are open. You don't want your bristles clogged up, because if your bristles get clogged up on you, when you go up here to do this, it's not gonna give you the open look you're going for. It's gonna just put out big globs of paint that just don't look right, and that ain't what you want to do. You know, you want it to be open enough that it puts that paint up here in a way it looks like leaves. Because if you don't, it's going to turn the mud on you quick, and it don't take long to do it. It does not take long. And then in some places it's gonna try to pick up that dark color that's under it, along with that green, and it's gonna wanna bring green out. And if it does that, that's perfectly fine. Cause I mean we'll see right there, it did it real good. And right there, we got green all throughout this painting. And we got browns and alizarans. So all the colors we got are within the same amount of color, or same color palette. You know, they're not. It's not like we got a ton of different colors up here. So. Everything's staying, what's the word I'm looking for? Everything matches. Kind of like a woman when she's getting dressed, you know, she wants her shoes to match her outfit and, you know, stuff like that. Well, when you're painting, you kind of want all your colors to coordinate. You want them to kind of all work together. Because if they don't, you end up with a mess. All right, that's that one that come out over the mountain just a little bit. It stood out, yeah. I was starting to worry about that one, if it was gonna. All right, about like that's all we need. Oh, we gotta come back over and highlight this one. Forgot about that. Yep, we gotta highlight it real quick. Alright, it won't take much to highlight it. Just the same way, just make sure your bristles are good open. Because if there's a secret to this, that's it. You know, making sure them paint bristles are open. One of these days when I'm doing a painting, I'll pick up a glob and just mess it up, just so you can see what I'm talking about, and then you'll know, if yours ever does that, then you'll know what caused it pretty much. Alright, now we killed that whole little mountain on that side, didn't we? Well, that's alright. We still got enough peaks up there to tell there's a mountain there. Alright, we're going to come back up here now, throw a little bit of the sap green and cad yellow. We'll come right down here to his feet and set him down in the painting, about like so. And we'll set him down on this side, and we'll put him in, set him down in the painting a little bit. All right, now the fun part. This is the part that I kind of been waiting to do, because once y'all see this part right here, it'll all start to make sense, I think. If it works out the way I got it in my head, it will. If not, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I went and messed this whole paint up. But you'll never know, because I won't post it. And I'm just kidding. Alright, I want to come off this point right here with a rock that just comes out in the water. And I'm just going to bring it back. Just like so. And then I want to come off with another one right beside it. Just right out in the water, just like so. And set it on the bank. And then another one. Just like so. And just set it out in the water. Just like so. But see how they're going to start coming around this corner right here. And when they start coming around this corner, you kind of gotta follow them around. If that makes sense. You know, you got to keep up with where the bottom is, or they gonna turn and this ain't gonna look right. You know, we want them to look like they're still sitting on this bank, which means some of them are going to have to be over behind others. And you do all that with highlight, basically. I mean, that's the key to it, is doing it with highlights. And then you just bring this one across like so. And they don't all have to be big giant rocks. They can be, you know, they can be a little smaller. You can do a little small one like that, you know. You can do several little small ones like that, in fact. They do not have to all be big giant rocks by no means. And then just kind of work you out all along the bottom here. You know, just put them out in the water. Just make sure you got them to where when they go out in that water, they look level. Like they're going away from you at that right angle. Because if you don't have a right angle, they're not gonna, this illusion ain't gonna work. Even if it means putting some in between them, you know, do whatever you gotta do to make that illusion work. Like they're going around the bank here. And then this one up here, it's just gonna sit here. You're not gonna actually see it go in the water. It's just gonna sit there like that. And that's as far around as we want them to go. Now up here, this is going to be a little trickier. We want this one to come like this, and we want these to be just little rocks. But these are going to be coming like at us. You see what I'm saying? Because they're coming this way into the water. And they're turning going up that way. Like that. And that'll be the last one you see that's going around that way. About like that. Sitting there. So all of these are pointing this way. Alright, we ain't gonna be able to put no little flow of water through there, but that ain't no big deal. We know this is water. If not, we fix it to. Alright, now we want to wash this filbert brush. Kind of dry it a little bit. Make sure it's good and clean, because we're fixing to go into some white. We're going to pick us up some white and bring it over here. And we want just a hair blue in it. And we want some dark sienna in it. Just a little. That dark sienna is going to gray it down a little. But you'll still be able to tell it's got the blue in it. Alright, now when we come back up here to highlight these, keep in mind that all you want to highlight is just the tops. And you want to do that just tapping. Just tapping a little bit. Just here and there. Just tap you on some color. If you have to take and push that paint up on that ridge just like you do when you're doing grass, well, that's fine. But just bring these rocks, you know, bring the reflections around like they're pointed at you. Like that. Then come over here. And same thing. Just tap you on some reflections in here. Just tap them on. Just tap them just like that. Just around the tops. And if they go to acting like they want to get away from you, you know, just because your next highlight is what's going to separate that rock from that rock. So, you know, remember that when you're bringing your highlight around to stop before you get to the bottom. So when you do your next one, you can give it a little separation there. And then on this one, it's gonna do the same thing. Just kind of highlight the top of it. Just like so. And then this one. Then you can bring another one in front of it if you want to. They don't, like I said earlier, they don't all have to be one big rock. You know, you can come in here and put your little highlight right there and make it look like another one sitting there. One right there. One right there. As long as you leave a little dark at the bottom of it, that's the key. So when you come in there with your next highlight, it looks like the one beside it is pushing it back. That's all you got to do. You just apply that little bit of highlight across there. And then knock paint out of this brush. Then come back up where you tap that on and just lightly tap it and kind of blend it towards the brown. Just don't get rid of all your highlight. Just tap the bottom of it down to where it just kind of blends in. And that'll kind of give it that rock look. Just like that. That'll take care of that rough line that don't happen in nature, you know. And it'll soften it up just enough to, it looks like highlight. Just like so. About like that. And then do the same thing on this side. Just lightly tap the brightest spots. Basically over here is all you're trying to tap. And then if you want to put just a little bit of brown on there and go around your bank, you know, just a little ways to make it look like there may be a couple more around, that's fine too. And you can pick you up some, and you can come up here on top of the bank, you know, if you want to put a stray or two up here. All you got to do is add your little color and then add a little highlight just to make it look like one sitting in the bank up there. But now once we do that, we got to wash this 1/8 brush again. And get it good and dry. Now remember, this is that brush that we used to put the color on with, so make sure it's good and dry. I want to pick us up a little bit of this yellow with the green all in it. And we want to come right up here to these rocks and work them right into the painting. Just kind of run that grass up to them and on top of them and in between them, anywhere you have to. Just make sure you keep it level where you're doing that, you know. But just run that grass on down to the rocks. And then same thing over here. Just make sure you keep them level. You know, just run your grass on over here. If you want to bring it over a couple of them, that's fine too. Just make it look like it's growing over the bank a little. You can even come back over here on some of these and you know, add a little of that like that to kind of give them that mossy look. Or, you know, make it look like the grass is just growing up everywhere over here. About like so. And then all that's left is coming in here, do your waterline. And for that, we're going to take some white paint and just very, very, very little dark sienna. We don't want much at all. Kind of like that waterline we did up here. And we're going to do this waterline with the little edge of our knife. Because when we come up here, alright, that ain't white enough. We're going to have to put a little more white in it. When we come up here and start doing this, we want it to be it's got to stay level. Your waterline always has to stay level. Now you're not going to see a waterline back in here, you know, behind these rocks. That's just nature. You're not going to see it. But starting right here, you'll see it. So, you know, come in here under these rocks, give yourself a little water line. And if you go to picking up too much dark color, just drop down to the next one. Come in there and just pull it out. And if you pull a little of that dark with it, it kind of gives you a shadow. And that, to me, that just adds to it. Just like so, just come around and just give yourself a little water line all through here. Just working itself, you know, working around the rocks. That's all we're doing. Just keep it level. That is the main thing when you're doing a water line, is keeping that water line level. I've seen people have problems with it because if their bank turns and goes up, they'll want to turn their knife up on that angle, and it don't work right. It just won't work right. Well, I hope y'all like that. That little painting it's been kind of stuck in my mind, and well, I see something I got to do over here on this tree. So let me get my little soft-haired sable out. I'm gonna come in here on the back side of this shadow and just kind of smear it on down some, because it don't need to be that prominent on the back side of this tree. I'll tell you what we could do while we're here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this Prussian blue and just tap just a little bit on the brush, just a little bit, and I'm gonna come under here and I'm gonna work I'm gonna work a shadow back, just like so. Make it, I just think that'll look better. And maybe put just a little bit of midnight black in that. Just a little bit. Note that you can tell it's in there. Yeah, about like it. I like that. That'll give us a shadow under that tree. And we'll do the same for this one. We'll give him a little shadow. With the same colors. Then we'll come right up the back side of this tree and give it just a little bit of reflective light back here with this blue. Just a little. About like so. And then maybe just a hair on this one. Just a little. About like so. Now let's go ahead and give this one a shadow over here. Pull him on off this way. Since the sun's over there. We'll pull him off this way. About like so. Yep. That's all we gotta do. Alright. Straighten this up across here. Pull it like that. Now, there we go. That looks better. Yep, that looks better. Alright. Well, crap. Now we need a little sunlight out here. Alright, I'm going to tap into just a little bit of white. Just a little bit. And I'll come out here and add just a little sunlight here and there. Just to make it look like it's hitting in a couple places. Just here and there. It don't take a whole lot of this to be effective. I'll kind of just work it in to where it's just a little lighter. Just to say, hey, there's the sun. About like so. And then maybe just a hair in between these trees right here to make that shadow stand out. About like that. And that should do it. I think I will sign it now. And for that I'll go right through some bright red. And I'll come right over here. I'll come right here. And I'll just put me a little H on it. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call that one done. Like I said in the comments, you know, if you think I just need to paint more and talk less, tell me. I mean, I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong on this YouTube channel because I don't know, the subscribers just ain't, they're just not as good as they need to be. And I'm just not getting in the algorithm. I'm getting, you know, a couple hundred views per painting, which is, you know, I'm tickled to death I'm getting that many. But I know if it gets into the algorithm, once I get that 1,000 subscribers, then we'll have a lot more people watching. And we might get to where we can do some live paintings or something. And you know, if it's because I'm talking and explaining too much, then, you know, let me know and I'll stop explaining every little thing I do. But to me, it's like if you don't explain it, people get confused and don't understand exactly what it is you're doing. And I mean, I understand that if that's, you know, if that happens, but let me know what y'all want me to do, because, you know, I want to do what y'all want me to do. Period. All right, guys. I love you all. God loves you more. I really hope y'all enjoyed this little painting. That, like I said, it's kind of been in my mind lately, and I wanted to do it, and I think it turned out fairly well. Y'all let me know what y'all think. You may not like it. I don't know. All right. With that said, y'all have a blessed night, and I'll see you next time.